Hello, everyone. Today's topic is biblical paradoxes. I know it's irony and contradicting, and there are so many things that I've come across that God's principle, God's way is so opposite from how the world is working. So I would love to share some of the Bible verses that is the example of paradox and that is also a contradicting. So number one is Matthew chapter 20, verse 16. The last will be first, and then the first will be last. So in kingdom's world, those who appear to be the least important or the last to be recognized as what? Great value, and they would become the first. And also, another example is Matthew chapter 10, verse 39. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. And when I meditated on these Bible verses, it was like, wow. And another example is for this particular paradox is when Abraham was asked to give his only son as the burnt offering. He didn't really question any God's ask, but he really purely and sincerely and promptly obeyed to his command. And God says, I saw your obedience. I saw your actions. So there's no more, you don't need to really provide any burnt offering from you to me. So that tells us that whoever finds their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will find it, because Abraham really showed obedience to God immediately and willing to sacrifice his son, the only son. He actually saved his son's life, right? So, and whenever we think of God's command, and when we think of our obedience to God, and when we are really be ready for anything, when we are really ready to give everything to Him, all in and with no question, like really sharing your pure intention and pure heart to God, whatever God you tell me, and gives us instruction, we'll do anything and we'll do everything, then God will show his favor and his mercy. And another example of paradox is, for I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 10. This Bible verses actually was my live testimony. When God asked me to go for a long run, to, yeah, as part of my memorial, my dad's memorial, I told God, you have like a goosebumps, and God, I have still like calf strain, but his signal was go for it. And I obeyed and I went, and that's when I completed 62 kilometer. And nothing to boast here, nothing to show. I'm sharing simply and sharing this example because this was the Bible verse that actually popped in my head. And yes, I am weak physically, but I am strong because God is with me and God has commanded his order, and go for it. And I did that. It took around like 10, 11 hours. So it was more of, yeah, life testimony. And I've experienced he was with me the full time, whole day with me, and that was a good date. And also memorizing. That was that was a good Memorial Day. Another example, blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Matthew chapter 5, verse 5. The meek, those where humble and gentle are promised to inherit the earth, right? A promise that seems to be defying worldly expectations, where power and aggression are often valued. So, patience and meekness, these are really important and precious ingredient for any leadership, and humility and patience, right? Ultimately, they'll be exalted because as it is written, they'll inherit the earth. Lastly, for God so loved the world that he gave his only one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. And if you, from the worldly point of view, if you love your son, the only son, then you will cherish him and protect his life and protect him so much, right? But ironically, God sent his only son to the earth, not to condemn us, but to save our original sin, to save all of us, right? So, John chapter 3, verse 16. This is another example of paradox that is written in the Bible, and I wanted to share this with you all because I think it's really important to understand the principle of biblical, um, yeah, from biblical point of view and also biblical standard. So let's say if you're participating in any of the running marathon contest or a half marathon or a 5K, you need to stick to all of the rules that the running organizer and running community and also the competition holds, right? To be able to win. Let's say if you're running with your own thinking and in your own way, shortcut and not follow the exact route and destination, then definitely you will be, yeah, you will not win the contest, win the race because you didn't follow the rule and standard, right? So this is the very reason why we need to understand how God operates, how God is blessing his people and how God is working in his own terms, and we need to understand his terms and his standards and his way of handling things, handling us so that we can win the race. And we'll connect. Thank you for taking your time to check this episode out. And we can connect virtually on Instagram at fitwell.to as well. So thank you so much for your support and taking your time to listen to this podcast. And happy Valentine's Day, everyone.